What's good, everybody? It's your boy. It's Call of Duty day. Oh, I didn't get it. Don't care to get it. Fuck Call of Duty. It's the same damn game that you bought last year with like new skins. So I didn't buy it. I didn't go to the midnight release. I ain't do none of that shit. And it's not because I couldn't afford it. I see you bitches saying I complain about I can't afford that shit. Bitch, I got money. I can afford a game if I want it. But I don't be spending that kind of money on shit that is the same as last year. So, no, I didn't buy it. Now, in response to the last video I made about games, when I said knowing the difference between a rare and a hard to find game, I stand beside that shit, bro. Saying something's rare like Earthbound or fucking Chrono Trigger, they're not rare. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. Chrono Trigger's not rare. I've seen that game at 7 different, and yeah, I'm gonna stand by what I'm saying. You can call them a retro spot if you want. Fact is, they're independently owned. They're not they're franchise. They're not corporate. 9 out of 10 of them are not corporate. GameStop is a corporation. A lot of them are corporate, not franchise. So when you look at it this way, they are a mom and pop stop. You feel me? They're shops that are, independently owned, and when you look at it this way, they are mom and pop stores. So a lot of these mom and pop shops are, they have these little hard to find games or whatever. And yes, I travel to them because I live out in the middle of nowhere. Where I live, there's like 2 GameStops where I live. I got 2 GameStops, one off Main Street, then one over by Walmart on the other side of town. So 2 GameStops, no mom and pops. So I have to go an hour down towards Atlanta. I live in Georgia, so if I go towards Atlanta, an hour towards Atlanta, I'll hit a mom and pops. Actually, I'll hit more than one, but that's, like I said, I have to travel to go to them. If I go up towards South Carolina, then yeah, I'll hit another one. But unfortunately, that guy closed, so I have to go towards Atlanta to even come close to a mom and pops. But again, that's if I travel, and I don't like to travel that often. Okay, mainly because again, these dudes charge way too much for just the cartridge. Like, just the cartridge. So, it's not that I can't find them, it's not that I can't afford them. I mean, obviously I can afford the shit. Paper on, it's not that I can't afford them. It's just the shit's kind of boring, and I don't agree with the prices. Feel me? You should not really charge that much for a game that, in all honesty, if the system is dead and has been dead for years, and then you have to do this little number and look at them fucking teeth inside here and see if they're, gold or decrepit or whatever, I don't think you should be charging a whole bill just for that, you feel me? And a bill for just a cartridge is not worth it, because you're charging for something that, as a franchise or a corporation, you yourself cannot make a profit off of, and that's called nostalgia. That is an emotion. You can't charge for that. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. A corporation, franchise, business, and overall business cannot charge for something you yourself have no contact with, which is nostalgia. The only person allowed to charge for that is garage sales and yard sales. That's it. Because you are in turn dealing with somebody selling personal belongings. Like, if you came up to my house, personally saw me with this game, I could charge you whatever the fuck I wanted, because you're dealing with me directly. You're not dealing with me as a company. You see what I'm saying? Different situation. I'm not having to pay the government. I'm not having to pay nobody else. So I could charge you like say $20 for this game, and that's me selling you the game and or the price of how I feel when I'm playing the game. You see what I'm saying? And if you disagree with that, man, that's on you. But that's how I look at it. And I know a lot of y'all didn't understand what the fuck I was talking about last time. But that's just how it, like I said, that's how I look at it. And like I said, you can look at it like however you want to. And I wasn't saying that, there's not rare games to come from like Jaguar and Atari. Obviously there are, because those systems is way, way older. And obviously because they, was part of that whole gaming crash before Nintendo. So, yeah, that is, definitely. But to say, you definitely have these people who, they get stuff from their kids and they go out and they sell, but they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean? You catch them at yard sales or flea markets or whatever, and you try to talk to them about something, and all they know is what they read on the internet, what they had, that's all they know. They have no idea what the fuck you're talking about if you try to talk to them like face to face. Like, say, Knack, for instance. You go to a flea market, right? And someone's got Knack for sale, okay? Just some random person. They have Knack, and then they have like a whole bunch of clothes, a whole bunch of movies, and like Knack and maybe Asphalt and Mad World. And that's the only games they have, is this game, this is it, okay? You got Knack, Mad World, and Asphalt. That's it. That's the only games. And the rest of it's clothes and CDs and a handful of movies. So when you're asking them how much this game is, and they tell you they want like, $35 for the game, and you literally do this number, you open the bitch up, and you look at the CD, you look at that motherfucker, and it's got prints all over it and a couple scratches, and you literally look at them and go, man, it's kind of scratched, I'm gonna have to go get it resurfaced. Can you come down on it? And then you even go, look on your phone, be like, well, they're charging like $15 at GameStop and it's used. Can you help me out on that? I'd rather give you $15 than go over to GameStop. They're gonna be like, well, it's running for this on this site, and that's how they, you know what I mean? And that's what I was saying. Okay, I know a lot of you didn't understand what I was saying, and like I said, that is the kind of person I was talking about. So now that that's all, cleared up, okay, because I feel like that was a misunderstanding, because a lot of people don't understand what I be talking about when I go and, talk on certain issues. You feel me? But this is what I'm clearing that up. You feel me? So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to clear that all up. You feel me? So but it is Call of Duty Day, and I'm saying that right, Call of Duty Day. Black Ops 3 was released. I didn't pick it up. I got no plans to. I'm sitting on $100 worth of trades, which I'm trying to spill every damn where. Basically, these games and Street Fighter 4 3DS edition. And one of the games is not even on this, which is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I bought 2 copies of the game. I'm gonna trade one in. That's gonna boost it over $100. I was thinking about getting it, and I'm not going to. Actually, I'm just gonna wait till next month, and I'm gonna hit Nintendo for that Xenoblade X. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit Nintendo for that Xenoblade X next month. That money I've been showing y'all, this money right here, This is all going towards that Xenoblade. I'm gonna buy the Wii U. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy that Wii U, and I'm gonna play the shit out of some fucking Xenoblade X. But like I said, this has just been me trying to clear all that up because it seems like everybody got all ass hurt on he don't know what he talking, you know, da 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 da, and I'm just like, I don't think these motherfuckers understand what the fuck I was talking about. So, you know, like I said, I just feel like I should clear up what I was saying, and what I was saying was I just don't like when people go on and, you know, if I would look, I collect, obviously I collect. I have like, I don't have a lot. I'm not gonna say I have a lot because I don't have that much time, and I don't really care that much, okay? But I have a collection of PS2 games. I have a collection of GameCube games. I almost said 3DS games, which I do have a collection of 3DS games. But I'm not that avid of a collector. I get what I can get my hands on, and if I care about it, I'll get it, okay? But I am proud of the games that I do have, and like one of them that I'm very proud of is Skies of Arcadia Legends on the GameCube. This is one game I'm very proud to have in my collection. But I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna tell y'all, hey man, this game is rare. Feel me? I'm not gonna tell you that. That would be stupid of me, okay? And that's kind of what I was saying in my last video, is I don't like people doing that. I don't like people going and being like, who's got this rare title, and showing a game that's just hard to find. That was the point, okay? That's what I don't like. People showing a hard to find game and then typing words like rare. You feel me? Because it's not rare if it's just hard to find. And there's a world of difference between the two. And when you do that, unfortunately, it fucks up the pricing. Because pricing is a bitch right now, man. Pricing is a bitch. And the used market of gaming, pricing is a bitch. Because pricing goes off of popularity. And unfortunately, that word rare hikes the price up on games, because when people think something is rare, the more popular it becomes. And when it becomes that popular, because of the word rare, pricing gets out of hand. And with games like Chrono Trigger, man, and you throw the word rare in there, man, that game's gonna skyrocket in price, and it doesn't need to. It's already $100 for that game, and it has to do with people throwing words like it's rare. You feel me? The only time I've seen it under $100 is on GameStop.com, and they have it for like, I think it was like 80 something dollars, and I was like, that, you know, is the first time I've seen it for under 100. That's the point I was trying to make. It's not rare. It's not. Chrono Trigger is not rare. Chrono Cross with the Final Fantasy game, the double pack, is not rare. I know a store right now I can go to by my Town Center Mall. They have 17 copies. And you heard me right, 17 copies of this game. Black Label 10, Greatest Hits 7. 17 copies of the same game, Chrono Cross, and whatever the Final Fantasy is, but that double pack. 17. They have Black Label and Greatest Hits. Mix and match. There's 17 altogether. This game is not rare, okay? But because a lot of people will post rare, that game's pricing, because popularity is risen, because people say it's rare, its pricing has gone up. That's what I don't like. That's why I don't like people saying, oh, the game is rare, when it's not. Okay? I would prefer people to be like, it's just hard to find. Because if people think it's hard to find, yeah, it's going to be popular, but it's not going to have the price go skyrocket. You see what I'm saying? I have sitting over in my PS2 collection, I have Shadow Hearts, the first one, not the second one, the first one. And I'm not going to say it's rare, because that would be stupid. It's just hard to find. And it took me a couple years to find it. And I have complete, it's black label, all that shit. And when I found it, I paid $25 for it. And I asked the guy, I was like, so why is this $25? And the guy behind the counter was like, pardon me, he's like, oh, it's a rare game. I'm like, there's that fucking word rare. And he was telling me, you know, oh, it's rare, it's really rare. And I'm like, is it rare or is it hard to come by? I'm like, be honest, is it rare or is it hard to come by? And we got to talking, and he was like, well, it's more or less really hard to come by. He's only ever seen like 3 copies come through his store. And I was like, okay, so it's not rare, it's just really hard to come by. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So the reason it's priced at that price is that it's hard to come by. So I was more intrigued by the fact that it was hard to come by. And like I said, that was what I wanted to talk about. So now that I've cleared that up, hopefully, now that I've cleared that up, you understand what I'm saying. And it's pretty much what I was saying in my other video. It's just, I don't want people to get these games, and it's because it's a used market. People will price based off of popularity, okay? The more popular a game is, the higher the cost is. And when you throw words out there like rare, people believe, because people go and seek these games out, when they hear that they're rare, the price is going to skyrocket, okay? Like, for instance, Silent Hill, the original one on PlayStation. If you start using Silent Hill 1 as rare, then that game is going to be sought after a whole lot. And therefore, in turn, the price for that game is going to skyrocket. Because whoever has it is going to be like, oh, well, we're charging $25 for it right now. Oh, it's rare? That means more people are going to want it? Oh, shit. I can charge $50 for that shit now. Notice it was $20 now. It was $20 before he heard it was rare. He then increased for $30 more because he heard it was rare. That's what happens. That's why I don't like that word. Why I don't like hearing it's rare is because, 1, it's possibly not rare, and 2, because the used market is based off of popularity, and the word rare increases popularity and people seeking something, the used market is crooked as hell, okay? So, when it comes to certain things, just know the difference. Just stop saying it's rare. Unless it actually is, it's actually rare, don't say that shit. Just say it's hard to find. Like, who has this hard to find game? I know it doesn't have the same, strike to it. I know it doesn't have the same, sting on it for the people who don't have it. Like, I don't have Chrono Trigger. I don't. If I want to play it, I gotta download the zip file or whatever the fuck, I gotta download it, or I gotta go find it on the DS or some bullshit. But, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're gonna help somebody who can't afford $100 for a fucking Super Nintendo cartridge. And a lot of people can't. I'm not one of them. I can afford that shit right now. If I really wanted it, I know where to go get it. But I don't want to pay $100 for a fucking game cartridge by itself. I don't know anybody who wants to pay $100 for just a cartridge. That don't seem right to me. Okay? Just think of it this way. One day, and this is gonna actually happen, one day, probably 2025, people are gonna look for these games, these 3DS games, and this is all you're gonna find, is the cartridge. Now, if anything you learn, remember, this is all you're finding on, say this is Super Nintendo, this is all you're finding right now. That means this right here, you're not gonna find. So you're telling me that one day when you go looking for this, you're gonna pay $100 for this? You're not gonna want to pay $100 for this? I don't want to pay $100 for just the cartridge. I would rather people just be like, it's hard to find. Because these same mom and pop stores that are charging the $100 have a hard time convincing someone like me to pay $100. because I talked to them and they're like, no man, that game comes in and out the store 4 or 5 times a week. 7 days out of the week. They mean to tell me this game comes in and out that store almost once a day. A week. That means that game goes in, then leaves. Then in, then leaves. This means they don't see that game 2 days out of a 7-day week. Possibly 3. So no, I don't want to pay $100 for a fucking cartridge. I want to pay below that. See what I'm saying? Because it's not worth $100. If you see that game that often, it's not rare, and obviously it's not that damn hard to find. So it doesn't need to be $100. It needs to be below 100. That's what you're telling me when I talk to you. Anyway, I gotta get the hell up out of here. It's been fun. I'm glad I could clear that up with y'all. Sorry for the confusion. Anyway, comment, like, subscribe, all that bullshit. And I'll talk to y'all next video. It's been your boy, Deuces. If you got Call of Duty, you know, more power to you. Hit me up on that PS4, by the way. I don't know my screen name. I'll make a video telling y'all the screen name and all that. Pardon me, all that bullshit. I'll make a video about that. Actually, I'm gonna jump on making that video right now, in fact. So look out for that. It'll be up soon. And hopefully we can all, you know, join up and have some fun on the PS4. Because I do have Destiny. So if anything, we can play Destiny together. Deuces.